Welcome to Words with Bill Uncle. Good to see you again. Today we're going to look at one major emotion and feeling, and that is the feeling of anger. We've looked at anger, but today I want to look at an anger thermometer. I want to look at two sides of our anger. One is the way in which we express anger actively. On the other side of the thermometer, you might say, is how we express anger passively. So passive anger versus active anger. So we're going to go up the thermometer, and as we go up the thermometer, you'll see how it escalates as we go higher and higher, just like you would temperature in a thermometer. So on the passive side, we'll start right at the bottom. And the first one that I want to talk about is silence. You've heard someone giving you the silent treatment, right? Silence is often a sign of anger. Someone came into the office the other day and they were very quiet, and I said, "You're awfully silent and quiet. What's bothering you?" "Oh, nothing," they said. "I'm fine, thank you." But I already caught them. I knew they were upset. I knew they were angry about something because of their silence. You could even feel the silence. So one of the first signs of anger is silence, or the silent treatment. Then there's one a little higher. It's called annoyance or annoyed. You know, when people get a little fidgety and they're fussy and they're annoyed because of something someone has said or done or something, and yes, if I were to ask, "Are you angry?" They say, No, I'm just annoyed." I said, "Well, then you're angry." Because annoyance is at the bottom of the line, but it's the doorway into becoming angry. And then, of course, we go a little higher, and the next one is irritated. I'm not comfortable. I'm irritated. And then we might become frustrated. "Oh, nothing's going my way. I am totally frustrated." And then we get a little higher and we get exasperated. Oh my. You think you're getting high on the scale? Not yet. Exasperation is still fairly low down. Then if we switch over to the active side, by the time we're exasperated or maybe even frustrated, we begin to show it actively, our anger actively, such as becoming critical. You know, we may have been fairly modest in our attitudes and things, but suddenly we're beginning to criticize everything. We criticize the weather, we criticize the boss, we criticize the school, we criticize the government, we criticize, you name it, the school board, and suddenly we've become critical in our nature. We may not even notice it, but our friends do, our colleagues do, because they kind of distance themselves from us. And then we get to sarcasm. Oh, now this is a nasty one. I know many comedians use sarcasm as their maybe number one subject for their comedy shows. But sarcasm is showing anger towards somebody. You're saying it in a sarcastic way. Sarcasm, for instance, is the open door to things like racism. In sarcasm, we may pick on somebody because of their color or their language or their ethnicity, and we think it's okay, we'll get away with it because we're just being funny. I was only joking. But sarcasm is the open door to things like racism and prejudice. Well, frustration, exasperation on the one side, ridicule, we begin to ridicule people. We begin to then gossip. If we're not getting our way with somebody, we'll begin to gossip about them. And usually gossip is negative. And we'll pass it around. "Oh, look at so-and-so, the way they do their hair, or so-and-so, the way they dress." And often we gossip about external things. But ultimately what we are angry at them for something, maybe even bigger. Then, of course, there are things like jealousy. Things like where we humiliate people, we put them down. I remember a husband saying to his wife in my presence, "Well, You can't cook worth anything. You know, even when you boil water, it burns. That was a very sarcastic comment about his wife's ability to cook. Jealousy, disgust. Sometimes we provoke. We purposely try to get somebody to get into an argument with us or get angry. We're getting higher on that scale now. Disgust, infuriation. We ostracize. We cut people off. Maybe we want to take revenge. Get back, payback. Slander, we put people down. We incite people into arguments or fights. We get repulsed. We say, I don't want anything to do with you, and we turn them out of our community. We might even get to a point where we damage things, damage other people's property. We break our wife's favorite teacup on the floor. What's the message? The message is, this time it was the teacup, next time it will be you. Well, we may even get into beating somebody up or taking physical action. But there's one here I want to emphasize, and we'll talk more about it later, and that's unforgiveness. As we get angry, we become unforgiving in our attitude toward people. I will never forgive. If we don't say it out loud, we're saying it to ourselves. And the person we're making a prisoner at that time is ourselves. Unforgiveness is getting up on the scale. Well, there's only a few more here I want to mention, and we can talk more about them in more detail at another time. Resentment, where we resent somebody. Rage. Whoa, now I'm getting angry. My face is red. My fist is ready to go. Bitterness. Then there's hatred. And on the physical side, even suicide. You know, I've had people say, well, you know, if I'm not going to get my way with you, I will kill myself, and then you will feel guilty because you caused me to kill myself. Hatred, murder, and one at the top of the scale besides murder is the word malice. When we have a malicious attitude towards somebody, it means we wish harm on them. I remember a truck driver coming in saying, I was so angry, I said, I'd like to see you run over by a big Mack truck, and I'd be happy to pick up the pieces. So you can see that anger, as it escalates, can become a very dangerous thing, not only in the lives of others, but also in my own life. It destroys me, my personality, my love, my care, my compassion. We need to deal with that anger. And in the coming videos we are going to give you some tips as to how to deal with anger. This has been Words with Bill Uncle.